Yo, what up? This is D Knight, and you're listening to the Pardon the Interaction podcast. My oh my, we've had so much going on. For starters, in case you missed it, we've got a new addition to the Pardon Pie family, Tara Dublin. Make sure you go follow her on Twitter at Tara Dublin Rocks. Also, pick up a copy of her book while you're at it. Make her day, The Sound of Settling. A very fun and interesting read compared to the things we talk about on this podcast. But yeah, we're heading toward the do or die time for the 2024 election. Go ahead and hit up JoeBiden.com. Get that man like $1 a month or something. Help his campaign staff up and get prepared to try and save our democracy. And make sure to grab like one other person you know and tell them about the podcast. Make sure they subscribe and tune in every single week. We got a lot of things coming up for you this year. We need all the support that we can get. So if you do your part and help us grow our audience, we'll do our part and help elect Joe Biden in 2024 and save American democracy. And this is the Pardon the Interaction podcast.
Was it hot?
Oh yeah, it was hot. Fuck, it was hot. Man.
What was the weather like in DC?
It was beautiful. The sun was out. It was actually really warm for this time of year. Like, cause we used to live not far. When we lived in McLean.
Well, yeah, you know, global warming, it's a thing.
That's true. But we used to spend a lot of time in Old Town. It was one of my favorite places to go because I love like just the diversity of restaurants. And, you know, we were rich back then. So there was this shop I would take my daughter to and I'd buy her these like, you know, $300 dresses. She was like 2.
Money well spent.
I go, here I am shopping in downtown Old Town Alexandria. Oh, I'll take that. Yeah, those days. Those were the days where I could walk into a store and walk out with a Rolex without blinking.
I mean, you sound nostalgic. I mean, look, it's not too late. We can hook you up with like another rich boyfriend type to blow all his money on you. Right?
No,
and you're worth it.
Like it used to be. Money doesn't flow. Like back in the day, man, everybody was making it rain. Toss it up. Nowadays.
And now you stuck with our broke asses. But we appreciate your time and attention.
I'm like...
We're glad you love us for us, because if you were in it for our money, you'd be...
I do. I love you for you. You know, look, I'm getting a little long in the tooth. I don't have much longer.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This is D Knight.
This is Carol.
This is Ty.
And you're listening to the Pardon the Insurrection podcast. If you're wondering why this sounds all weird and awkward and chopped up, it's because we did it at the end of the podcast, not the beginning. Oh, and there's intro music now.
It's like Memento.
Oh
yeah.
Yes, we're going backwards. We're the Benjamin Button of podcasts.
Yeah, we time traveled.
Sound cut.
And we still don't know the results of the election, so don't ask.
What election?
Okay. Do we need to do like real show, or are we just like uploading us talking and then it'll be like, oh, they're gonna get to the election, and then I'm gonna be like, all right, and that concludes part of the insurrection. And I'm like, damn, they talked for a whole hour. They never mentioned the midterms. Fuck them.
Midterms. Well, when were we gonna get this out? Like after the midterms? Polling is still looking really good, but we'll see. You know, there's supposedly all the stories about people I don't think exist who are, you know, I overheard all these Democrats at the polls saying, I'm voting for Lee Zeldin because Democrats, I've been a Democrat all my life, but I'm voting for Lee Zeldin. I'm like, no, you did not hear that shit at the polls. Everyone is silent at the polls. They're just standing in line quietly, not wanting to be there.
Just wanting to cast their vote because, you know, life is over if they don't. So
okay, so we are gonna do a real show. Do I need to like game plan this out real quick?
Let's do a quick rundown. What the hell happened?
I don't know.
Everything?
All right, let's start with the polling. So I guess the way we can kind of look at it the past couple of weeks, I don't really know.
Floods the field with low quality polls to psych people out.
Exactly.
Possibly set the stage for voter fraud allegations.
Absolutely. So it's difficult to tell by the polling how things will turn out in this election. for a number of reasons. But yes, it's largely that the GOP was like, hey, we'll hire all these fucking polling companies to flood the zone with these shitty ass polls. And because people.
Who's this handsome new man in your life?
Oh, man, I'm jealous.
Hi.
No one hugs me like that.
You don't know what to say to that?
No.
All right.
Yeah, way to make
That's
it
your
awkward,
last
Carol.
thing of chips for the night.
What happened now?
That man can have all the chips he wants to.
Man, you know what? Takis
It's
were
almost
on
election day.
sale. Takis were on sale. Big old box of Takis.
Takis, man, they're so good, but like I feel like it's a sin eating these things because they can't be healthy. All the sodium and all the chemicals and the worth it. So I will die an early death to enjoy my Takis.
Die free.
Okay, so people like what Nate Silver, 538, and all these new era pollsters, the way they do their projections and their polling is they take like the averages of a number of polls, and with Republicans adding all these fucking crappy ass shit polls to the mix, it affects the averages and to make it appear as though Republicans are doing better than they actually are, which normally, considering how things went in 2016 and 2020, might actually help reflect a more accurate sense of what is out there. But what Nate and others aren't taking into account is the early voting metrics, which so far lean heavily in our favor. And by heavily, I mean like
4 million votes.
Yeah, record-breaking fashion. We have more of a lead as far as early votes are concerned than we did in 2018.
And to be clear, we can't record who someone actually voted for, but you can see someone's party registration and how many people from that party voted.
Absolutely. Oh, and one other thing you can tell from the early voting statistics is the gender of voters, which you can imagine seeing a huge increase in early turnout from women is a fantastic sight, especially if you're rooting for some kind of rallying during the midterms for Democrats. I would imagine, given the demographic breakdown, I don't know the exact. I should have took notes on this. I don't know the exact numbers, but like compared to the polling, Democrats are overperforming by a number of points. So in races that look like Democrats might lose a close election, they might have a slight lead, and in other races where it shows, Democrats have a slight lead, it might not even be close. It might end up being, 1, 2, 3 point victory. Fingers crossed, hope for the best. Again, this is not my expertise. This is not what I do for a living. And I don't actually even get into like the granular level shit, like districts and house races are just it more than I can handle. Yeah, fingers crossed, things looking good. I can't make it.
You finished, Carol?
Wait, what happened? Oh, you done with it?
I finished my jar. Yeah.
Congratulations. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Yep, good times. So I can't make any predictions, but luckily, Mr. Boozy, Christopher from Bot Sentinel, has predicted a sweeping victory where Democrats will gain seats in both the House and the Senate. So hopefully,
I like that.
Oh, and he's volunteered to come on the podcast. I'm assuming sometime next week.
Let's call him.
We'll have him on to gloat.
What's he doing now?
He's busy. He said he's booked all week, which is totally understandable. That man's services are in high demand.
Holy shit. This salsa is spicy.
That's a spicy salsa.
Mm-hmm.
We like watching you lick it off your fingers, Ty.
I'm just sitting here
eating
delicious. Clumps of meat like Napoleon Dynamite. So I can eat it with your hands. Fuck it.
Whatever you got to do.
I want some more. I want some clumps of things.
What are we doing here? Okay.
What is this, guys? Do you want to take the podcast to the next level? Let's all go podcast study. What is this, guys? Sorry.
Yeah. Are you high already?
She's got her thing. She's got her.
But yes, I was already.
All right, guys. So we can't have podcast today without talking about the elephant room or the toddler in the room.
I'm assuming this is going to be Elon Musk that you're referring to.
Jesus.
Just so you're all clear, that mispronunciation of the name was a parody.
Yeah, I'm going out of my way to avoid getting banned from Twitter because apparently that's the thing. Yeah, look, where do we start with this fellow? It's
you know what? This fucker. All it was a flex. It was a fucking flex. Because he is trying to push this narrative of this Democrat, left wing, whatever. But bottom line is the ultimate troll got trolled and he didn't know how to handle it. But if you would notice, the people that he chose to suspend, like Kathy Griffin and Sarah Silverman. And Kathy Griffin was an easy target because remember the whole Trump head thing. Like I've been seeing a lot of that meme going around. So it's like people are jumping on now you get, whatever, you know how they try to deflect.
Well, but it's difficult to say he went out of his way just to target Kathy Griffin, right? Okay, well, so let's hit the rewind button. Who was it that made it popular to impersonate Musk in the first place? Because I think that's where we should start.
Valerie Bertinelli got the most traction from it because she's America's sweetheart.
Yes, she did.
People love her. But
she gave up the gag, right? But by then, a number of people had decided, hey, they were going to take up the mantle.
They were going to take up the mantle. But I have one bone to pick. The word, which, like they do, they commandeer words, steer them in there. The word impersonation.
Right.
Because impersonation, it's when you're trying to fool people into thinking that you're that person.
Yes, and this wasn't the case.
Elon Musk at Kathy Griffin. Yeah, never thought that was Musk, okay? Like, Musk at Wolfie's mom. Yeah, no, not a...
Meanwhile, there's a real Elon Musk account that's still up.
But phrasing it that way, that gives him the cover to say like, oh, impersonating people. So it's semantics.
Well, one thing is that he didn't just go after Kathy Griffin. She was one of a number of accounts who had Elon Musk in their screen name who got suspended. But according to like what the Twitter rules are, like just having a person's name in your screen name doesn't necessarily qualify as suspension worthy behavior. And then the other thing is like he changed the rules on the fly, right? He didn't even announce that it was an immediate suspension. He was just like after the fact, hey, we used to send out a warning to people who were engaged in what we consider violations of our terms and services. But we no longer do that with impersonations. It's just an instant ban. But really all he was doing is picking on people who were making fun of him. And it's a shame.
That's exactly it.
It's a shame that he's such a little bitch. Okay, look, let's start over. Elon Musk, why is he even here in the first place, right? I don't know exactly who he's been kicking it with, but I am for sure that it's some guys in the Project Veritas crew, the Jack Posobiec's of the world, or however the fuck you pronounce his name, right? And these right-wing nutbags, giving him
having a party with Peter Thiel.
Yeah, yes.
Was it
yes,
Tom Fitton and what's the Oracle guy?
A bunch of scumbags. With the point being
that Elon Musk is here because his mother failed at her one job.
Swallowing?
Okay, that's the long view. We're talking about more recently here. So the right wing brainwashed them like, hey, you know, you can be a warrior for the right and free speech and whatnot. And wouldn't it be cool if you like bought Twitter and used it to tank the midterm elections and hand a victory to Republicans, right? And so at the time, the stock price for Tesla, which of course he's the CEO and, you know, main shareholder, was soaring. And he looked at Twitter and was like, hey, I can afford X price. I'll overpay, basically to make things go a little bit faster, even though he tried an underhanded version of basically buying a majority share stock, like hostile takeover. Anyway, point being, it's like you signed a deal, overpaid for Twitter, but also at a time when Tesla shares were sky high. Immediately looked at the deal. It was a mistake. Tried to get out of it. He spent the last 6 months or so trying to dodge the deal, as opposed to doing what he initially intended and using Twitter to tank the midterm elections for Democrats. All right, fast forward to October. He's about to be deposed. He's apparently done some shady shit to also try and tank Twitter stock value. Of note, I do believe there was a whistleblower who tried to out Twitter, basically saying that Twitter had covered up some information about the number of inauthentic accounts that were active on the platform. That's not what's important. What actually does matter is whether or not Elon was involved in compensating that person to come forward, which would be like a violation of the contract. So it's entirely possible that if he got deposed and either had to tell the truth about that and or lied, not only would he have been found to be liable for basically the $1 billion breakup fee, but Twitter probably could have hit him for damages. It's impossible to tell what that number would have been, but it would have been significant. So I'm assuming that he did the math and decided that it would be more financially feasible to just go ahead with the original terms that he signed with the Twitter board for the purchase than to take that excessive hit from Twitter's lawsuit. Well, he made a terrible mistake because at the time when he initially signed the deal and Tesla's shares were sky high, they have since fallen a significant amount. So now he's had to sell more shares than he initially had intended. The price is lower, but also the sell-off caused the share price to fall even further. But also he had to take out massive loans in order to finance the Twitter deal. So he's also in a huge amount of debt. Needless to say, the price he paid for Twitter, it's clear it's not worth it. $44 billion. Evaluations have come out somewhere in the ballpark of $10 to $15 million. I mean, and that's
million or billion?
Billion, sorry. Billion with a B. Math is hard. Math's hard, kids. And if you do all the math to some degree, it appears that in all of this, Elon has went from being the first $300 billion man to being worth less than $200 billion in the course of like a week and a half. It's insane. And also, I don't know how much revenue Twitter is bringing in, but apparently the way they sell their advertising, a giant chunk of it comes in advance. They hold a conference every year where they fundraise. But given that the potential sale might have gone through, where Elon may or may not become the owner earlier this year, advertisers was like, "Whoa, let's hold off on that. Let's see how that goes." So, as far as 2023 revenue is concerned, what is usually 35-40% of the company's expenses already taken care of in advance, that's no longer the case. So I must imagine that he's doing the math on what it will cost to service the debt from these loans he's taken out to purchase the company. And also the fact that there's actually no future revenue, at least from his major advertisers. He's freaking the fuck out because he didn't think this shit through. And all the time that he should have spent planning this out, he was spending trying to weasel his way out of the deal. So what that amounts to is the deal goes through a week ago. He shows up at Twitter's office with the fucking sink. Actually posting jokes on Twitter about that. Let that sink in.
Well, that's what he thought were jokes. That's why he's so butthurt. Because when you take someone who only knows how to speak in memes that somebody else created,
man,
and it gives them an inflated
sense of self-worth.
I
feel like you're taking a shot at me there.
That they're witty or smart. But what happened was he got trolled by actual comedians.
Oh man. Okay. So yeah, we've hit the fast forward button.
That's why we're going. Yeah, he got trolled by actual comedians.
Okay. Well, why did he get trolled? Let's start with let's start with what he did on day one. Right. He fired a bunch of people that he shouldn't have. He fired the board. He fired a bunch of executives. That probably alone cost him another $1 billion, right? And then he was like, "Oh shit, we got to fix this. This thing needs some revenue. We don't have it. Well, let's cut costs. Let's fire some employees. All right. Well, the genius motherfucker was like, all right, now that I fired everyone, here's what we're gonna do with Twitter. I have all these plans. Let's build all this shit. Oh wait, who's gonna build it? Womp womp. Let me try and rehire these people." That I just kicked out of the company. So that was a genius move. Fucking moron.
He's a fucking idiot.
Yes, he is.
Just, bought a farm for all the horses he's going to need to give out.
All right, Ty, tell the horse story.
I'm just saying. He apparently feels that livestock is a way to entice people to come back.
Well,
so, there you go. But
Wait. No, look. The horse story, look, you got to be more specific because it's actually incredible.
Okay. So, that
flight attendant.
That pasty fucker thought that because he's the world's richest man, that somebody wanted to see all that. And, tried to get him a little special rub-a-dub and offered the space flight attendant, a horse, which if it was like 1890s Oregon, would have probably gone over well. But being in 2022, just kind of not a thing. Kind of not a thing.
Yeah, for all you kids out there, let's not endeavor to exchange farm animals in exchange for sexual favors. Let's start there. I don't care how many billions of dollars you're worth. Let's not do that. But also, let's definitely not do that with your own employees. I feel like that's a real no. It's probably a big do not do.
Don't offer ponies.
All right. So that said, I imagine with the breakup with the Twitter employees, he's like, "Hey, what can I do to get you back? How about a horse?" Or, well, since he's billions of dollars.
He's like, "Wait, did I show you my penis, or do you just need the normal compensation package?"
All right. Well, since he's billions of dollars poor now, he's probably offering ponies. He's a little smaller, cost less.
pulling jewels out of his pocket.
No, that would be you. The different kind of jewel. Yeah. You smoke jewels, and he probably doesn't have
He
any
could
family
be
jewels.
Tom Green and Freddie Got Fingered.
Oh man! All right, so he's billions of dollars poor. Oh my god, he's billions of dollars poor at this point. So what's his genius idea for bringing immediate revenue into Twitter? Hey, let's charge $20 for Twitter Blue and a verification badge. Despite all the reasons why that's a fucking stupid ass idea, we can't get into all of them because it would take forever. But mainly that it would make it impossibly easy for like some random bot account to just pay a $8 or $20 subscription fee to get a blue check mark. How can that go awry? Well, I mean, you could easily end up with 20,000 Elon Musk impersonators with blue check marks on Twitter. Why is that important? Well, apparently Elon didn't figure that out, as a number of Twitter accounts with blue check marks decided to make fun of the plan by changing their screen name to Elon Musk and changing their profile picture to his and engaging in some shenanigans in his name. It did not go over well.
He got butthurt real fast. That motherfucker, he changed the whole term of service agreement and then just...
Now, did he change it first or did he tweet about it first?
He tweeted about it first. And yes.
It kind of reminds me of someone else who used to abuse his platform on Twitter and
actually,
make official proclamations.
I'm sorry, wait, I got that wrong. He actually didn't tweet about it first. Apparently the rules changed on the fly. People got suspended, and then he tweeted about the rule change. I'm sorry.
And then he said, because it was like people were like, and then he goes, for the record, anyone from here, after the backlash.
Right.
But
yes, Carol, tweeting on the fly, what does that remind you of? Someone who's making it up as they go along on Twitter.
Well, that's all of us, but making official proclamations over Twitter instead of through government channels. I mean, official channels.
Oh man, remind you of a former president, you don't say.
Yeah. And he just goes like, I forget what the exact tweet was. The one about like how the media destroyed his Twitter platform, even though he's trying to get advertisers, and like it's all the, and it was like exactly what Trump tweeted.
I have a feeling that he won't, because he has reinstated some other, he has retweeted like some other, or reinstated some other people, but not Trump. I don't think he wants the competition.
Well, that's not it. I'm going to guess that advertisers have spoken to him in private about how much of a dumpster fire it was post 2020 election with Trump on the platform, and how if Trump comes back, Elon will never get another dollar from them. Right. So it's all great. It's well and good when you're a Twitter troll and you don't actually have any responsibilities. Right. But then you come into a position of power and you've got to make these responsible decisions about how the platform works and what you're going to do with it, because you're now $44 billion and the thing instantly is worth $30 billion less than what you paid for it. Like you got to make these decisions. But actually, it's not unlike Trump, right? Just like it was all fun and games in 2015 and 2016 until he actually got in the White House and had responsibilities. When you see how that went. And you know what? Yeah. These two motherfuckers do have a lot in common, don't they, Carol? Sorry.
Yeah, it's not encouraging.
No.
But at least hopefully we can just like after the midterms, if he's not gonna play nice, we're just gonna go somewhere else. I saw him trying to troll us by posting like a screenshot of Mastodon, someone posting that it's like the server's down again. It's like, come on, we'll scale up. Or you have to keep in mind we are the product.
And guess
your
what?
Shitty platform. Yeah.
All those advertisers, they're going to want to go somewhere. And
they are.
It's probably the advertising rate for them to advertise on Mastodon would be a lot less than it was on Twitter. And then they could ingratiate themselves with the new users.
Well, Mastodon's going to have to get its act together. It's not nearly as functional as Twitter is. Well, here's the thing, right? So the intention was to buy Twitter and basically turn it into a right wing disinformation magnification glass or whatever the fuck, that would have been awesome had he got it done 6 months ago. He did not, for the reasons I was explaining earlier. But now it's a little late. Midterms are tomorrow. Like you shot your shot, buddy. I appreciate you telling people to go out there and vote Republican after you've made an ass out of yourself for the past week. No one's actually listening to you.
Yeah, right.
Well, here's the thing, right? 2024 is a long way away. The next election, given the way that he's been running things this week, will Twitter even be around in 2024? And even if it is he might not even own this thing. Like he might be like, "Oh, this was a fucking dumpster fire of a mistake. Let me undo. So let me hit what's undo, control whatever, F2, something like that. Control F2 this shit. Let me put a board back in place. Let me get the moderation teams back in place." He might take the thing public again and try and get the fuck out because it was clearly a horrible mistake. And
no. What I'm saying, like, as far as Elon goes, he's a fuckboy. Like Elon,
different set of problems.
he wants to be popular. He is an insecure man-child who wants to be popular. And after he took over Tesla as CEO, and he's hanging out with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and he's going on not unlike the plastic boy and his wife that the Kushners, like when they were in New York and they were going to the Met Gala and they were doing all of this stuff. And then they aligned themselves with the divisive that they can't get out of it. Now they're attached to it and they're stuck with it. So now the Kushners, they're like, oh, okay, well, we're going to have to make ourselves a right-wing society, but who the fuck wants to be around those lunatics, They're not fun. I would rather be partying with fucking Jay-Z and fucking being invited to the damn Fenty show, which they're not anymore. And Elon's the same way, because who was he hobnobbing with? He was the toast of liberal town, and he's hanging out with all of these celebrities and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, he had a whole persona. He was Iron Man,
but he's like, that wasn't giving him what he wanted because he is cuckoo for fucking Cocoa Puffs, and sane people weren't having it. So he tried to put himself in the right wing, and
he'll always be that awkward nerd with the receding hairline and the weird face, right?
But now he's that awkward nerd who is stuck on 4chan. He'll never be accepted back into
he's burned his bridges.
Society. No. Yeah. So he's trying to ingratiate.
Buy it.
Okay, Mike Lindell.
Buy cool society.
It'll cost him another $44 billion, and I don't know if he's worth it.
So it's like now his buddy is fucking Lynn Wood and fucking Rudy Giuliani. Like, that's not
hey, now that you mention it, who likes him now? Does anyone? Because like I don't give the right wing very much credit, but like I'm sure like the average right wing nut job sees through this, right? They know Elon's not one of him. Like that's what they complain about, the global elite. Like he's literally the definition of.
He's literally the global elite. He's from fucking South Africa through Canada back to America.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude has fucking touched multiple continents.
Yeah, but he's also burned his bridges with like liberal leaning people. Like the people who would buy his cars are probably looking at this shit show like, nah, dog, I'm out, and we'll never go back.
So do you think I should put a Twitter survey? So you were saying, like, does anyone like him? What if I do a Twitter survey just directed towards women who have a child with Elon Musk. Do you like him? And we'll see how many responses I get. It could be like 30.
Oh man, wasn't that Grimes that got on there and roasted his ass? She was like,
and how long would it be till I lose my account?
Well,
you could do one of those commercials like the freaking drug companies do, or the lawyers for the drug companies. Like,
have you or anyone you know been impregnated by Elon Musk? If so, call this number.
Do you like him?
I guarantee you he's probably already got a Twitter employee pregnant by now.
That's kind of his jam.
That's if they're not already fired.
That's true.
He probably got them pregnant Thursday and sent out the letter saying they were fired on Friday, and then try to hire him back Monday.
I was Elon 3 days.
No man. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done. No more Elon talk from me. I apologize. All right, we got anything else in the works you two would like to discuss? Oh, is Trump going to announce he's running for 2024?
Who cares?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Carol. Who fucking cares?
I mean, is it important? Probably not in the grand scheme of things, but it may or may not make a difference depending on when he announces. If it's today, I don't know what the fallout of that might be tomorrow. It might make people more inclined or less inclined to vote Republican if they had intended to do so.
Ugh.
I mean, he keeps saying I might, right? I might announce, I might do this.
That's because he wants money. He wants those donations.
I think what he wants more than that is to stay out of prison. Carol, are you familiar with DOJ's policy of not indicting candidates before the election?
I mean, I don't think there have ever been candidates who staged a coup before, so I don't think that's a hard and fast rule.
That's fair.
I don't think 2 years in advance.
Yeah, that's the thing.
This is unprecedented.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be like, oh, well, last time they did a coup, there was there's no precedent for this. Nope, no law. Coups are fine.
Oh man. Well, the other thing is like the time frame, right? Like, all right, it's 2 years before the 2020 election or 2024 election. I'm announcing my candidacy for president of the United States. You can't arrest me now. Like, this is a whole 2 years away.
Fuck, we can.
Oh my God.
So Seth Abramson's tweet says it's going to be on November 15th. He has a big announcement to make.
Unless it's telling us that he's dead, I don't want to hear it.
He's going to announce that himself.
If he was Herschel Walker, he'd pull it off.
Great.
But maybe he knows he's going to be indicted soon after that. And he wants to, set the stage to say, like, this was politically motivated.
Yeah.
Hey, bad voice. I cannot do it at all. Never mind. I was going into like a drunk JFK.
Oh, yeah. I can't do that one. I was like, if it's a bad Trump impression, I can do that one. It's a witch hunt.
Donald Trump.
The radical Democrats. The crooked FBI. Yeah. Okay. That's fantastic.
But you got to do the hands. You got to have
Hillary Clinton and the radical left Democrats persecuting me. Can he even spell persecuting?
Let's shoot drug dealers.
Yeah, man, this.
We got to do the tiny hands.
Hey,
radical Democrat.
I have man hands, so I'm no good for this reenactment. I have.
Yeah, your hands are bigger than his. Yeah.
I've got big hands. I talked to my ex-fiance this week.
It's a weird tangent.
And then, it just made me think of Ray. And I'm like, man, yeah.
Okay. No, hey, Cash Patel did testify to So Kash Patel, I don't even know what he did at the end of the Trump administration. Did Trump
What
put
has
him
he ever
acting?
done? What is he?
Probably just a coffee boy. I've never really met him before.
No, that's so good. I hardly knew him. No, I can't even remember if he was acting at the CIA. No, he was supposed to be appointed deputy director. Anyway, he's testified before the grand jury as it pertains to the classified Mar-a-Lago documents investigation. Apparently, that whole limited immunity thing was enough to compel him to testify. So I imagine that's some semblance of a hint that DOJ is going to bring charges. Look, it's impossible to tell who they'll charge, like the multiple people involved in this bullshit. But if they're not going after Trump, they're going after someone. If not Trump, eventually. It's probably a dead giveaway. But you'd think that the day before election, I don't know, maybe a media outlet out there or two might want to cover that. No one cares for whatever reason, though.
There's this, let's see, this Vanity Fair article from 4 hours ago. Trump freaks out Republicans with threat to announce 2024 bid before Election Day.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't click on the article, but I saw that. I saw that headline. I was like,
yeah. See, I brought that up. I did my due diligence. All right. Fun times. What about Trump going after Ron DeSantis? That was spectacular.
Mr. Sanctimonious.
It's a guy. Ron DeSanctimonious.
That's a better dig that I expect from him.
He kind of workshopped it. I don't think he had it written out. It wasn't on like a card or anything or his notes. But yeah, he threw that one in there in his rally the other day. That was nice. It's like, it's days before the election and Trump is out here attacking Republicans. This is great. It's my kind of shindig. I love it when he goes after other Republicans. It's fantastic. It's reminiscent of 2016.
Yeah, when he
wait, but like
all those cucks, he cuckolded them.
Right. Except it's horrifying. It was horrifying in 2016 because you're like, this motherfucker can become our president. In 2020 or 2022, Nash like, he's already done his damage. Like it can't get worse than it was. So yeah, you kind of just it is funny to think of like Ron DeSantis spending all his time and energy becoming a Trump clone, and then for Trump to like make fun of a dude that acts just like him. It's like some Inception level stupidity.
Yeah, no self-awareness.
Ron DeSantis has no spine. Like he does not have the wherewithal. He doesn't have the balls to actually go toe to toe with his whiny ass voice and his stupid ass comments. He's such a weakling. God, I hate him.
Well, that's the thing. Trump. Whatever you think about Trump, one of his few abilities is smelling blood in the water and knowing a bitch when he sees one. I mean, I'm guessing, it takes one to know one. So he sees himself in DeSantis and knows he can go after him like that. But I mean, anyone who's threatening to run in 2024 for the Republican nominations probably in Trump's sights. So it's coming. It'll probably come Wednesday. He's probably going to unleash on Wednesday.
Well, I'm hoping that I can decipher the real news between all of the blue checks.
On Wednesday? All right, yeah.
Real skinny.
Well, Elon's new blue check mark scam kicks in on Wednesday, much to my chagrin, but at least he pushed it back until after Election Day. I guess because of the obvious amount of harm done to his own reputation by people mocking him by changing their names to Elon. So small victories. At least we got that delayed a couple days, but yeah, I don't know. So what do you think the Republican Party will look like after tomorrow if, say, Republicans take back either the House or the Senate?
The Republicans are gonna.
I'm not saying they will. I'm just.
They're gonna
saying.
look like they always have, but the country is gonna look a fucking mess.
Oh man. Yeah.
I mean, that's just like I've been like bracing myself for, playing the worst case scenario game. Like
that's always fun.
Oh, Josephine Baker was a spy for the Allies, and she lived in Nazi Germany, so I can survive here with American Nazis. And I think, well, they survived.
Well, it was nice knowing you guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Carol.
But it's like I try to brace myself. Like, okay,
look, the Nazis weren't particularly nice to the black people over there either.
No, but they didn't. They let Jimmy Wingfield leave and fucking Josephine Baker. I mean, this bitch was so cold-blooded that she was fucking putting Allied communications, writing them in invisible ink on her music notes.
Yeah.
Tying stuff to her panties, going to Poland, going across Nazi-occupied Europe, infiltrating that's some brave shit. I'm sorry. That's really brave. Because the fact that she would rather have lived in a Nazi-occupied Germany than a Jim Crow America should tell you a lot. Because she literally left to go back to Europe during that time. So
mistakes were made.
Just saying.
On America's
that tells
part.
you like where her mind's like, I feel more comfortable in Nazi-occupied Germany than I do with the KKK here in America.
Well, Carol, how excited are you about the return of Nazism to the United States? I'm sorry, that was a real downer.
I can't process that. No, I'm gonna go harass people to vote tomorrow. Oh God,
that's a good idea.